Yo, it's Misha Dex.
And your boy, Keymon.
See, I don't even have to say and. He just don't do it.
Well, yeah, because that was where the confusion happened during our last season.
So we bringing all that energy from season one.
Well, the last episode, you wasn't about the positive vibes, so I just come in.
This is going to be our last episode, y'all.
Yeah. Nope. Not at all.
So.
How you feeling?
Stop asking me.
Oh, shit.
I'm traumatized. Every time you ask that, it leads to this whole breakdown.
Okay.
Nah. So, I'll answer. I'm good. I feel really good about what's coming up for me this summer. I feel good about the travels and just things in general to like really put me first. I got some self-care stuff coming up that I'm excited about. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I been busy, but good. I feel like been intentional, but with a lot of things. We have been on the move, and that meaning like back and forth between San Diego, Menifee, LA, Menifee. We just like to the point where we need to start saying no because it's been a lot. But that's been our motto though since we started dating. Me and Liska.
Did we need to clarify that?
Oh man, but no. Our thing is we show up for our peoples, and that's what we really try to embody. So it's just like everyone's worth the trip.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm happy you tripping.
Hey, I see what you did.
You know, when you're a poet, you take the words and definitely taking what you just said about learning to say no and not feeling like you're wrong for it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not saying yes to you.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's something that I feel like, and in adulthood, I had to learn. Like I won't say I lost friends. Yeah. I've lost connection with people due to not saying yes all the time.
Yeah. And
then when you're always showing up, and then you take time for yourself, people for some reason take that so personal.
They don't think you deserve it.
Right. Like I had one friend, and I ain't gonna even say her name. One time she said, "You don't have no kids. How are you this busy?" And I said, that's why I'm busy, right? Like, I feel like even though I've established my entrepreneurship, I've always had something going on. Yeah. Like, I've always had multiple jobs and opportunities lined up on top of having a regular job, and then always being there for birthdays, holidays, and weddings.
I hear you. I just feel like between me and Liz, like we're getting pulled. We're social. We are two social folks, and it's almost like we too damn social.
Yeah. Sometimes y'all need to just go on and dumb that social down.
Yeah, it's all good. But again, it's about being around the people who you genuinely love and care about. So no, it's no problem.
So speaking of like being around people, how do you distinguish how you show up, right? Like knowing that maybe, like you mentioned all the time about my beautiful niece keeping you up at night, right? Like how do you figure it out? Like, okay, this was a long night, but I said I was gonna show up to this. Like
that's crazy that you said that, because these last few months, my motto for myself and what I tell myself, and this is even talking about me waking up at 4 a.m. to make it to the gym, is like, you're going to always be tired. Like, tired is a part of the game, but it's what you accomplish and what you do in the midst of being tired, because I can sleep 12 hours and still be asleep. I can, and I can sleep 6 hours and have the best energy. So it just all shuffles. But again, though, I think when we talk about showing up for our people and the energy that we bring, I think it kind of becomes a no-brainer. It kind of becomes a no-brainer. because I don't know if it's because we really love them or it's be like FOMO type of stuff or whatnot. So yeah, it's been it's been some busy weeks, but yeah, I would say that that's just part of that. I feel like being tired is fucking part of the game.
No, that's no lie. But I feel like, and the reason why I ask that is because there's times I am tired and then I get there and it gives me the energy I need
Yeah,
based on what's happening,
Yeah.
like the way, like especially when it's like girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
Like me and my girls, or even the way me and Daisy, like we here you go throwing rainbows. Like, as much as we together all the time, there's a lot of space in between us that when we do our trips together, or if we decide to do a movie at the house, it gives you what you need for the moment to be, because you're still being social, but it's not requiring you to be give too much energy.
For sure.
But yeah, I've had situations where the connection was lost.
Got it.
And the only reason why I say the friendship isn't lost is because I feel like if you can let go because of timing, then that's not what the friendship was based on. So it makes you go back and assess how you show up. But speaking of showing up, right? What is it that we can be inconsistent in life for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
What allows you to keep showing up for YB negative?
Damn, smile again.
It's me.
It's me. I think I believe obviously in us, in you, and what we do. But really embody what our purpose is behind this, right? Like we always say this: if our story, if our vulnerability, if it can save another a person's life or help them reach the next level, or just help them open a wall or some type of source of communication for that allows that healing to happen, I'm all for it. And I think that's what's been the driving force behind me showing up consistently, is like, shit, at this point we have people depending on us. And not to say that in no cocky way or whatever the case may be, but I think for me, because obviously we have social media, we have Facebook and all these things where celebrities talk about like being homeless and their struggles with their parents. And yes, I hear them, and not to say that their story isn't true,
It's still valid.
I can't relate though, because it's different, and I'm not saying it's because the emotion is the same emotion,
right? Hurt is hurt.
But I just feel that for someone to hear from an everyday person, a teacher, a former teacher, former social worker, ordained Tupac cousin, it hits different, right? Because we can't just book a trip and go away.
Yeah.
Like, right, we don't have all the people in our village that's just fluffing us.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's just what it is.
Okay.
What about you, nephew? What about you?
I keep showing up because I find fulfillment each episode.
I feel like you was waiting on it.
I wasn't. I was sitting there. No, but see, the difference is I'm a natural speaker.
Okay, go.
You can ask me any question except for my dating life.
Go ahead. We want to go.
No, I find fulfillment in, like, I feel like with friendships, people know what's going on and you teeter, right? Because it always goes back to what people capacity is. Yeah. So you teeter around certain things, and then you share this little piece, and then you find yourself like backing away from it. Okay. But in this space, I feel like everything in our world pauses. Like, yes, you're still a father when recording, but that pauses. Yes, I'm still all these different hats, but it paused because in this space, I'm really able to hone in because I have to think about it, right? Like, I'm not just like, it's not that, oh, how you doing? I'm good, bye. It's when I ask a question or you ask a question, I full wholeheartedly respond. And then when I go back and I think about it, I'm like, dang, I haven't really shared that in a minute or to that extent. Like, you know, season 1, episode 10, bringing up one of my traumatic things that I did, which was cutting. Like, I can't tell you last time I talked about it. And I don't think there was ever a conversation offline that would have warranted for us to have that conversation, not because of shame. It didn't
create the space.
Right. So the reason I keep coming back is because I'm really intrigued on what other spaces are within us that we haven't tapped into that continue to support, like, again, other people to start these conversations, because I feel like we can create a game at this point, a social game called Why Be Negative, and it be question cue cards to start conversations amongst friends. To build.
Don't y'all take that.
We said first. Hey, you know, like, because I you know, we talked about where we want to see Why Be Negative go. I want to be in people's home. I want to be in people's spaces. So I keep showing up because I want people to continue to show up for themselves.
And also when we get into those circles, I feel like it like people who have tuned in and know what we're doing, it seems like folks have entered my space with such a different level of awareness because of what they know we're about and what we're doing. So it allows like them to be authentic in the space. And I don't know, I remember asking my boy, like, how do a session becomes like a session, like, right now I wouldn't say therapeutic because I'm not licensed or anything like that, but how does a session becomes a deep session? And I always ask them that, but now that I'm sitting on this side of the game, it's just based off listening and conversation. It's being inquisitive, curiosity, like all that creates this space for folks to, you know, share, you know, some of their darkest moments, share why they struggle with taking a step, with uncovering.
But pause. Not just sharing their darkest moments and it's matched with nothing. I feel like it operates in this way that you've never knew it would be. Like, it transforms the idea of, or metamorphosizes, right? The idea that I'm not the only one. Because it's a difference between transform and metamorphosize. Right?
Well, what's the difference?
Oh my God. Like a butterfly doesn't transform, it metamorphosizes, right?
Oh, but the Transformers.
Only you would take something so deep and make it child's play. I cannot.
No,
but no, it's like those conversations that come out that one you never knew you would say out loud, right? Like, there's things that our friends have said to us that they've never said out loud before after we created this space, right? So just to think that they broke one barrier by admitting that this has been their experience. And then 2, now they're teetering on, do I go get therapy for this? Or do I talk to even more people about this? Do I bring awareness to this? I feel like there's these things that are happening for people that they never even knew was possible. They didn't know that conversation was really the start of the healing journey. Because, again, we have been taught to not talk about what happens in our home. Don't share your family business. Don't blah, blah, blah. And the whole time that has created blockage after blockage. And think about all the things in life that can kill you are started with blockage. your arteries congested.
Blockage. You trying to make a layup and Matumbo come out. Blockage.
Rest in peace to Matumbo.
Blockage.
Blockage. You got to do it with the accent.
Oh no!
Do that.
No, but let me. Okay, so then let me ask you a question because you talked about therapy. You mentioned it just now. Mm-hmm. Would it be wrong for me to stop my therapy? And the reason why I asked this, because we have talked about the way our village shows up in our community, how they show up for us separately and together. And I feel like when I sit and talk to the therapist, and obviously no shade or whatever, I just feel like the level of conversations, the level of questions haven't allowed me to open up the way I was expecting the sessions to go, right? Versus
right, but pause.
Okay.
You came in with expectations.
Okay.
Right? 2, no one said that one had to be the one. You're not in the same first relationship you've been in. Right? Like you mentioned last episode of you learning that you control what happens with you into a certain element, right? You control to get a new therapist.
Oh, okay.
And it's not wrong if you stop.
Yeah.
What's wrong is if you stop the healing journey. Yeah. It's wrong if you stop thinking about what you need to get to the next level. I don't think anyone can judge what is right and wrong for you. I can only suggest. It's only a suggestion.
Like, and it's my mistake because I'm normally that person.
Pause. You said you're what?
I'm normally that person.
No, you said my mistake.
My mistake. Damn, did I never say I'm sorry or my mistake?
I'm sorry.
I mess up all the time. But no, I'm big on not labeling things like you only determine the good or bad. Like it's the intentions behind it. So my mistake. But I just wanted to ask that question because I feel like I'm at a place of probably seeking and again, I just feel like maybe the expectations I need to let it go, but also understanding like again, there are some sense of awareness that I know that I bring, even though it comes with a lot of undealt with trauma. But there's a lot of self-awareness piece, and I'm very, very proud of that part of me because I even see it, the way I show up, on the golf course is like my buddies tells me all this, like, how do you make everybody feel like they've been knowing you for 20 days or for years or whatever? It's no blockage, and part of that is what I pride myself on, and that's my superhero power. Like I'm a connector.
Yeah. I call it a keychain. Because you hold different keys that other people wouldn't have access to the doors behind them, and that's like the way you show up for friends and be like, hey, this friend know how to do this. Like you stay trying to get me to marry people.
Yeah.
Hey, she can marry you, right? And then she could be at the reception.
And I also know that everyone that I rock with know that I am going to speak highly of you when you're not in the room. I don't care if you own the construction business. I'm mentioning your name,
right?
And that's just what it's about, though, right?
And I love that because at the end of the day, it shows like that's the part about you that's unconditional, right? You don't do it for so that when you make it, I don't have to give you no money. Oh, so the truth is coming out, my brother. But man. It was something you said, and I don't want to negate, but I don't want to forget this thought. It really sat on my heart, like clean as day when you said something about starting. Do you stop therapy? And I'm not gonna say God gave me the start, but what came to my heart really strong is just because you're hungry and you eat a meal doesn't mean you won't go back into the kitchen.
Okay.
Meaning like you can find fulfillment in the moment and you'll get hungry again. You can get healing from this space, but you'll still need to be healed again. So I want to always support, like, just because you've succeeded or you've conquered something on one end, it doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean you will continue to conquer, right? Yeah. And find spaces that allow you to, whether it's eat again, and that could be food for thought, obviously. But the way you continue to show up is also another opportunity for that, right? Yeah. Because it's like, just because you connected one don't mean you stop. Yeah. Yeah. There's always that reciprocity and continuing to find a way to connect the next person. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. No, that's good. That's good information that you given about time. But damn. I'll send the invoice. Yeah, coming for your throat. Coming for your throat. But no, it was just a thought. It was just a thought. You know, I think for me, as we navigate through season 2, and I mentioned this in a previous episode, was that it was about reflection. It was about reflection, like, really, how do I allow myself to feel what I feel, the emotions behind it. How do I allow myself to process it, and how do I allow myself, or how much time do I give myself before I release it, right? Because what I realized, though, is that not every situation deserves to hold the space that I'm currently allowing it to hold, right? And I think and you got to differentiate that. Yeah, like, it's all individualized at that point. Yeah, definitely. But I think for me, in terms of when we talk about peace, when we talk about this, that, and third, I think, like, I control that, and part of and my peace is being disrupted at home because of me. And pause. When did we come to this understanding? No, I'm not. No. Again, we don't have to deep dive, because I think that's big for you to say. No, because I think, and I've shared this with you. I don't know if I had a moment to share it in season 1, but me and Liz, we come from 2 different upbringings, right? And her parents have been there 40 plus years, been married. I didn't have my parents there, so we operate different. Yeah, you guys pull from different sources. And I feel like at moments or at times I was holding that against her, versus really trying to add that as a source, right? Yeah. And not to, like, take advantage, but add it as a source. You are supposed to feed off of one another's experiences. And I think for me, the things that I'm predicting or trying to prepare for is affecting the now. And I don't want it to be like that. And I can still move with some type of level of intention behind, and still have that I guess that safety net. Right. But you got to be present. Yeah, you have to. So, and again, this is part of my thing, is like, this is going to be a self-reflective moment for you. This is if we're trying to break habits, and we're trying to really, really move the needle and move forward, that's what it's going to take. So I got a question. Ah, shit. Here we go. If Keymon had to date Keymon, what would turn Keymon off about Keymon? And what would be the best part of dating you for Keymon? Ooh. So 2 parts. What would be the thing that turns you off about Keymon dating yourself? I think I can process things alone, and let it reach a level of like, I guess, a level of temperature where it explodes, because I think the
that's the side of me that's like, as a man, I think that's the side of me that
that gets in the way.
that really needs to focus on being controlled, is that like you have a partner for a reason.
And trusting that she's there.
Yeah.
For her role.
And so, you know, she's been a lot.
Don't do her.
No. And the other side of it is that I'm loyal, and I don't, and that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, but I also feel like the other side of it, maybe good or bad, is just like I really try to treat people the way
you want to receive it.
I try to come to a I think solution, whatever, before it even happens, right? Really trying to reflect and understand my piece in it, and don't have a problem with saying I'm sorry. But it's crazy though. I don't have a problem with saying sorry to the folks outside of my home, but don't feel like I say it often enough at home.
Woo!
So
and that right there is a level of growth that you have to have the experience.
Yeah.
No form of conversation can spin the narrative on that. Mm-hmm. You have to see it yourself. And I'm sure she's probably said it in her own way.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. And the reason why I asked you those two questions is because self-awareness is real. Mm-hmm. And if you're not aware of what you take from the people always talk about what you bring into the table. Mother, what is you taking from the table? Because you might take something that I need to still be on the table. And everybody don't have that self-reflection or self-awareness to know that they don't like something about themselves and willing to say it out loud. Like we can tear ourselves down all day long. But then when it comes to if you was dating you, what about you would you be like, that's a deal breaker? Yeah. Because we have deal breakers within ourselves.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right? But sure. I wanted to ask that because that was my get back from last episode. But I wanted to ask that. buddy. No, I just thought it would be interesting because you did some self-reflecting from the beginning of this episode. And I wanted to test that out to see how much further have you self-reflected. And that's I'm happy that like I get to hear it first because they get to hear it secondary.
For sure.
But I'm proud of. I'm always be proud of you. Like whatever decision you make, the fact that you in a sound mind to make a decision.
Yeah, and that's the important piece.
Yeah,
that's the important piece. And that's what's crazy, you know, because I don't know if this is going off topic, but like all my friends, they be like, "Oh, I'm not drinking for 30 days. I'm not doing this for such and such," and I had talked to myself and said, "Damn, am I a bad person because I'm not taking those days off?" But
you're a bad person because you're just me.
No. But I told myself, I said, "No, it has nothing to do with that." But you hold no, you really nothing really constrains you, in terms of.
But your discipline looks different.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is never getting lost in other people's disciplinary actions, right? For themselves. Like, I'm not a big drinker. So then it's like...
but then you want to post the next day out. I was mad. I was mad. I ain't gonna even lie. But go ahead. I was here.
Someone called 911. Anyway, I'm not the person that needs to go 30, 40 days without drinking. So I wouldn't even look at that as my, but I do have, you stupid, but I do have disciplinary when it comes to doing anything spiritual. So like before I wed anybody, I don't do alcohol, meat, and things of that nature before I wed people or do a baptism or do anything like a funeral because I don't want to be the reason any negative energy is being put in the space. because I just want to come in a pure form as possible. And I really don't try to be too social those 3 days before.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, well, because you don't want to take on no one's. That's the capacity piece. Like, the compartment's closed.
But it's also intentional.
Yeah.
This is how I'm intentionally showing up for the space that you've invited me to be a part of. And so anyway, always understanding that everybody's disciplinary actions towards self or how they show up for them, it looks different. I try not to ever compare. Because I just know everybody does things differently.
Yeah, and that's obviously the good piece of it. Is like you can't, because you'll get wrapped up, and then it becomes this whole thing of chasing versus attracting, right?
Right.
And I think that's.
And I never ran track.
Okay.
I ain't chasing them up.
Attract,
please. Attract.
Sprinkle me, sprinkle me. Oh man. Well,
with that being said,
why be negative?
Yo, it's Misha Dex.
And your boy, Keymon.
See, I don't even have to say and. He just don't do it.
Well, yeah, because that was where the confusion happened during our last season.
So we bringing all that energy from season 1.
Well, the last episode you wasn't about the positive vibes, so I just